Alright, so guys, let's begin. So last lecture we saw concept of methods, and then after we also discussed something about the debugging concept, right? And we all understood basically, okay, the debugging concept, how does it work with the methods? Yes or no? Now today's lecture we will learn constructors concept, and we will also use debugging with constructors, which will help us to understand the flow of the project. Okay, we'll understand how constructors they work, what is the flow, and how do we call a constructor, what is the difference between a constructor method. All of those things one by one we will learn that. So let's begin. So firstly, I'm going to create a simple program here. Okay, I'm going to create a simple program here where, let me close this all. So how do I create a constructor, guys? Firstly, constructor should have same name as that of class. You see here the class name is A. Constructor name should also be A. The constructor name and the class name should be same. Now once your constructor and the class name is same, okay, the next question arises, how do we call it? Let me enable the chat option for students. So I'm going to write here some SOP statement, system.out.println, a main method, and let me call this constructor. So in order to now call a constructor here, if I run this program, you observe there is nothing happening. I see absolutely no output in my console window, which means this is not being called. So the question is now, how do I call this? So I'll write A1 is equal to, now when you create an object, constructor will get called. Let's see how. Let's put here a breakpoint. Let's click on the debug icon. Program will stop at this breakpoint, and then after, let us wait for it to run in debug mode. Hold on, right click, run in debug mode. Let's see. I did not save the file. So now let us run this in the debug mode. Okay. Okay. Now the application stops here. Now I will use this here as step into. Now you see line number 8, what is it now calling? Line number 8, what is it now calling? Let us understand that here. Step into. What is it calling? Understand the steps properly. This new A is calling constructor, which means when I'm creating object, constructor is called. Then step over. Then closing bracket. Now closing bracket will go back to the line number from where it is been called. It goes back to the line number from where it is called. And now variable A is initialized with the address. Variable A is now initialized with what? The address. Can you see that? First constructor is called, then object is created, then object's address is got, then we are keeping in A1. Which means objects are not created first. First constructor is called, then object is created, then that address we are storing in A1. Did you understand the flow? Now closing bracket of main method, program execution will stop here. Again I will show. Observe. I am now running this in debug mode. Carefully analyze. Now I will use step into because it's making a call. So step into, what is it calling? Constructor. Now if I take the cursor here, do you see any object's address? It's not there. Now step over. Any object's address? Not there. Step over. Printed A. Now when you do step over, it goes back to the line. Object's address is now stored in A1. Okay, which you see here now. It is printing object's address. Are you understanding, guys? Yes. So what is that you need to understand? Before even object is created fully, constructor needs to be called. Only after calling a constructor, object creation takes place. Otherwise, object creation would not take place. Are you understanding? Otherwise, object creation would not take place. Hold on 1 minute. Huh? I'll just be back. I think some people are using Wi-Fi. Okay? I'll just tell them to disconnect. Hold on 1 minute. Okay. Right? Now closing bracket of main. You do step over and the program stops. Did you understand? So object, first it calls a constructor, then object created, you get the object's address, then you store it in variable A1. Is this point clear? Everyone, online students, did you understand this point? Please tell me. Let's continue further now. Now I'll create some more objects. Let's see the flow. Are you able to understand the flow now? A2, A3. How many objects are created? Breakpoint is here only. I'm going to analyze from here step by step. Debug mode. Now understand. Line number 8 is calling line 4. Step into. Then printing A. It is then printing A. Did it print A? Closing bracket. Goes back. Now object creation successfully happened. It calls constructor. Object creation successfully happened. Takes object's address. Stores it in A1. First object created. Step over. Now step into. Okay. Step into. Hold on. Program is not saved. Right? Program is not saved. You have to save the program. Otherwise, you'll have a trouble. Is this clear? So, program now saved. Now observe. Step into. Step over. Step over. What is created? Object. Step over. Step into. See now? Line number 9 is again calling constructor. Again prints A. Closing bracket. Second object created, address stored. See, first object's address. Take the cursor. Step over. Second object's address. Now again step into. Every time you're creating an object, constructor is called, then object created, you get the address, store in reference variable. These are the steps it is taking. Now again further it prints A, further closing bracket goes back. Now see, third object created. See, first object's address, correct? Then second object's address, then third object's address. Okay, third object's address. Now if you just click on this button here, variables, you can see all that here. the objects created. Can you see that? 1, 2, and then what? So these are the 3 variables that holds objects addresses. Okay. So if I click on this, you can see first object's address it is printing, second object address, third object. You will have that control here. You see this specs icon? If you click on that, go to variables, it will tell you what's happening here. Now again we'll see with this variable section. Okay, so I'll open this up. As of now there are no objects created. Now see, step into, call the constructor, still no object creation happened. Now prints A, go back, closing bracket, go back, step forward. Now you should see here what happened. Did you understand? The first object created, okay, the first object created, click on it, address. Second object is not created. Look at that now. Again, step into, okay. Now step forward. Now come back. You see that now? I've come back. When I move further, what happened? So see the flow. Constructor called, object created, then address stored in reference variable. Don't get confused. Okay, which means what are we understanding? Object creation requires mandatory call to constructor. Object creation requires mandatory call to constructor. If you don't call a constructor, then object creation cannot take place. If you want an object to be created in Java, then constructor calling is mandatory. Are you understanding? Without constructor calling, object creations cannot take place. Without constructor calling, object creation cannot take place. Fine. Now see, I'm at third object. So step into. Now print A. Go back. Click on the specs icon. Now observe. You move forward. Okay. Move forward. Now see. One step further. Which object got created? Did you see that now? Now the object is fully created and address is stored in A3 for future reference. Let's continue further now. Now what I'll do is, I will create here a constructor with argument as well. I will now write a int x. I'll create another constructor int x comma int y. Okay, let's print here value of x. Students, are you able to understand? Let's print here x and then let us print here y. Okay, now there are 3 constructors. Let us call this one by one. A1 is equal to new A. 0 arguments matching with this. You can write in any sequence. You can write after main method also constructor. Constructor, it's not that it has to be before main. It can be after main. Object creation can happen in any sequence. A2 is equal to new A. Then A3 is equal to new A. Now let's look at the flow. Correct? Breakpoint is here. Can you see that? Save the program. Let's start with debugging. Now you will tell me, firstly line 15 will call which line? Very good. It will call line number 4. Is object created? No. After constructor execution done, then it will create an object and store address in A1. Okay. See, prints A. Now return back. Now object got created. Got it now? So these steps it is taking behind the scene to create an object. Next, again step into. Now here, what is the value supplied? Did the argument get this value 100? Take the cursor and see. Yes. Step forward. Now what did it print? Closing bracket. Which line will it go to? Closing bracket of this constructor will go back to which line? 16. Check. And when you pass that line number 16, A2 is initialized with object's address. Now line 17 will call which line number? Loudly. Online students. Loudly. Which line number will it call? 10. Line number 10. Is it calling? Now what is the value that will go to X? 1000. Check this. Is it 1000? What value will go to Y? Yes. Now step forward. What did it print? 1299. Closing bracket. Which line number will it go to? 17. After 17, which line number? 18. Now closing bracket of main. What should happen? Program stops. Did you understand the second example? Everyone got this? Any questions, queries, do you have it here? Any questions, queries, do you have it here? Okay. Now let's continue further. Now, whenever you create a constructor, keep this in mind. Whenever a constructor is being created, keep this in mind. Constructors are always void. A constructor can never return any value. Constructors are permanently void and it cannot return any value. You need not write void here. Okay, it is already void. If you now write 100, I'm getting an error. I'm getting what? An error. Are you understanding now? I'm getting a what? An error. We had not studied. Yes. Deepak, you're right. Your analysis is right. But I will explain that later. Earlier you did not write constructor, but still object was getting created. Yes, because there is something called as default constructor concept. I'll come to that later. But without constructor calling, object cannot get created. Earlier I did not write it. Correct. I did not write a constructor. Then what happens? Internally, automatically constructor is getting created. I'll come to that point later. Let's not add here. We have a separate section for that learning. Now, why am I getting an error? Read the error message. Read the error message. Read it loudly. Void methods cannot return a value. So they're telling this is void and you cannot return a value. So since it is void, can I write only return? Huh? Yes. Because whenever it is void, you can write only return keyword inside void. Is this clear? Okay. Now let's see the flow. Now let's see how many people will answer this. Firstly, you analyze the flow. Breakpoint is here. You manually analyze. Manually analyze firstly. Manually analyze. Done. Able to understand? Okay, let's see how many people analyze this properly. Let's analyze that now. I'll start with the debug. Okay, let's start with that. Now, which line number I'm stopping at? 10. Which line number will it call? 4. So should I do step into or step over? Very good. Next, which line will it go to? 5. What is it printing? Now line 6. Where it will go from here? Because it's a return keyword from line 6, now it will go to, if you don't write this, then from line 7 it would go. But since I'm writing return, see, from line 6 only it is going back to 10. That is the impact of return keyword. Are you understanding? Now object creation successful. Did I get the object's address? Yes. Complete execution done. Click on the resume button. That will completely terminate your debugging and finish the execution of the program. Is this clear, guys? Everybody got this now? Any questions, queries do you have? No. We'll continue further. Now suppose I write here void. You observe now. You observe now I made it as void and I'm creating object. I wrote void. And now let us debug and understand what happens after adding void. I'm here. Now when I make a call, see there is a step into button. When I do that, you see that it's not calling constructor. It went somewhere else. Can you see that? And if I do step over, it's not at all running this. Carefully observe. Again I'm showing you. After adding void, I'm at line 10. I added void. Now I'll do step into. Is it going to line 4? Going to line 3. Which means it's not running this. It is not running this. Yes or no? It is not running this. Are you understanding? Correct? It is not running this now. So now understand. Here, if I now do from here, I'm at line 3. If I do step over, object is still created. Somewhere it has called a constructor internally. I did not, but this is not a constructor now. This is not a constructor. If you add a void method, it becomes, if you add void, it becomes method. What it becomes? It is not a constructor. If you write void, it becomes what? Method. Observe once again. After adding void, is object creation calling that? No. Step over. This is not at all executing. Yes or no? If you add void, it is not a constructor. It is a, and this is a non-static method. You agree with that? How do I call that now? A1 dot. Yeah. Run this again and see. Now see. Step over. Step into. Line 11 is calling what? I did not. So let's do that again. Let us stop. Let's debug. Let's understand here now. So step over. Step into. Did you understand? From line 11 I am calling this. After adding void, it is no longer a constructor. It becomes method. What is it printing? See now, line number 6 will go to which line? 10 or 11? It went to 11 and stopped at next line. Again I'll show you. Observe. Observe. I'm adding void. So constructor, if I do step into, it is not calling. I did step into for constructor, not calling. Step over, back. Step over here. Again step in. Which line is calling that? Line 11 is calling that. 5. Step over. Return keyword is going to 11, stopping at next line. Closing bracket of main, program stops. Did you understand this part? Online students, did you get this part? Please tell me. Are you all clear with this part? Please tell me. Online students. Yes? All clear. Right? Students are clear with it now. Very good. Any doubts do you have so far? No doubts. Okay. Now we are going to look at the next concept, right, which is called as constructor overloading. What is the concept we are going to look at? But before that, let's go back to our notes and press Ctrl F and search for constructors. Now let's read the points. First point, read it loudly. Make sense? Okay. Can you tell me why there is an error? Since it's void, you cannot return value. Scroll down. Read the next point. Correct? If I write down new A, new A, new A three times same constructor is called. Because a mechanism for creating object is called constructor, object created, get the address, store in reference variable. Did you understand? Next. What is the next thing? So only after the constructor is called, your object will get created and in that non-static members are loaded. Are you understanding now? Clear with this point? Next. Constructors are never loaded to object. Constructor is not a part of object. Constructor is called even before object is created. So that cannot be a part of it. When you're writing new A, constructor called, object created, non-static member goes to object, then object's address is stored in reference variable. These are the steps it's taking behind the scene. Is this clear? Yeah. Now, what is the output of this program? How many times are we calling? How many times 100 it will print? Very good. Now let us continue further, and now we will look at a default constructor concept. We'll understand the concept of default constructor. Now I have one question here. Let's delete this all. I will now write A1. When I write A1 is equal to new A, and if I put a breakpoint here, and run in debug mode, constructor is missing. Observe, constructor is missing, but still when I do step over, object is created. Sir, how is this happening? Constructor is only not there. Just now you said we have to call a constructor, then only object creation can happen. That is mandatory. But now here, firstly, constructor is only not there. Then how did object creation happen? Because without calling constructor, you cannot create object. Then how is this working? How is this working? So there's a very important interview question. What are default constructors? Let's understand that now. See, any Java program that we write, there are two steps that we take in order to execute the program. The first step that we take is to compose a program writing. So I'm going to write here the Java code, class A, and then in this, let's assume there is a main method, public static void main, and then observe here, we are writing a.java. Okay, so this is the first step where you will be creating a.java file and you will write the program in that file in English. But machine can never understand English. If you have studied electronics, electrical subject in your engineering, or even if you have not studied, simple thing, always we require zeros and ones, binaries. We call that as a byte code. And that byte code is what we convert that to signals. The byte code is what we convert that to signals. Now, how do we form a byte code? So usually what we do is we take a number, let's say 10, and then we divide that 10 by 2. Okay, 2 5s are 10, remainder 0. Then 2 2s are 4, remainder is 1. And then 2 1s are 2 and the remainder is 0. Now the byte code, you will read it like this: 1 0 1 0. Now once you get the byte code, this will get converted to signal. Okay, 0 means 1 means this, 0 signal, then again 1 signal, then again 0 signal, and the signal will now travel through your all electronic items and communication will happen. But to form this signal, we require digits. Are you understanding now? Because only digits you can divide into what? Byte code. Into what? Byte code. Did you understand this? Yes? Online students? Did you understand this part, what I said here? We require byte code in order to form the signals. Same way, whatever program that I'm writing here now, they are all in English. So what will happen? We will take this Java file and we perform something called as compilation, which is a process of converting this English code into byte code. It will convert that into what? Byte code. So this byte code will be in zeros and ones. This complete code is now translated to zeros and ones, machine language, which will be stored in a dot java, a dot class file, a dot class file. Got it? And then what we do is we take this dot class file, we run this particular dot class file, we take the dot class file, run this dot class file, and finally you get the output. These are the steps that we take to run your Java program. Are you understanding now? I'll explain this more in detailed manner later. But for now, we have the program written down in English. When you compile that program, we get zeros and ones, which will get stored in a file a.class. Then this dot class file we run and we get the output. This is the standard procedure for every Java program to run. Now, what is happening? If you observe, I am creating class A. I am creating class A. It's visible, no? What am I typing? Class A. And then in this, let's say I'm writing public static void main. And then I'm creating an object. A1 is equal to hold on, A1 is equal to new A. I'm doing this. Now what happens is, this is my a.java file. Do you agree with that? Now in this program, if you observe, constructor is missing. In this program, constructor is missing. You agree with that? Now what happens here is, when we compile this program, what is compilation? What is compilation? Convert this particular program into byte code. When this program is getting compiled, guys, automatically the compiled file will have one empty body zero argument constructor. This will automatically get added. This will automatically get added. If you do not add a constructor during compilation, automatically one empty body zero argument, there are no arguments in that, empty body zero argument constructor is getting added. And now there is a constructor. So now when we write new A, it is going to call the constructor. When we write new A, it is going to call the constructor and object creation will take place. That is why even not writing constructor, it is creating an object for us. Because of this default constructor automatically getting created during compilation. That's why you notice actually what's happening here. If you put in debug mode and if you carefully observe, see, when I actually do step into, it's actually jumping to class. So what's happening is, internally in dot class file, there is a constructor it is making a call to. Otherwise, it would have gone to the next line. It's not going to next line. Somewhere it's going here. So internally what's happening? It's calling a constructor. In the dot class file, one automatically empty body constructor with zero argument got added. It calls that and then comes back again here. See. And now object is getting created and program terminates. Did you understand this now? Did you understand this part? Yes? Everyone? Online students, are you all clear with this part? Please tell me. Online students, are you all clear with this part? Okay. So we now just started with default constructor. Okay, please analyze this diagram once. What I explained here. Analyze this diagram once. What I explained here. This is your a dot class file. I just missed writing A here. That's okay. Understood. We know the syntax how to create object. I've already explained that earlier. That's understood. I'm writing this code not in zeros and ones. We have still written in English only. Not in zeros and ones. We're still writing in English only. Able to follow? Now let us read the definition here. That will give us more clarity. When we run the above program, following things will happen. When the program is compiled, it will generate bytecode that is stored in .class file. As the program does not have constructor mentioned, then during compilation, automatically empty body constructor with no argument constructor will be added in .class file. Okay, and hence object initialization will take place, meaning your object gets created and that gets initialized with non-static members. Object gets created, non-static member gets stored in it. This concept is called default constructor. Did you understand that now? Yeah, we'll study this note later. Slightly tricky, so we'll give a pause here. Is this clear, everyone? Yeah, prepare handwritten notes, practice well, and people who have got communication skills problem, you can refer this app. You can download this app from Google, install this app, okay, and you can connect with people one on one and start your communication classes from today. Don't take any paid version. Like you, lot of people will be there online. When you just click on the button, a phone call gets dialed, you randomly connect with some people and you start your conversation in English with them, right? Peer Up app, I will again show you. You can just go here, okay, you need not join any academy. You just go here and type Peer Up app. If you just go here to Peer Up app, you see that English speaking made easy. Install this app, and then after, what you do is there will be an option connect with people. You just dial, within few seconds and minutes you get connected with random people and you start the conversation in English, and that will help you to improve your communication skills. Is this clear? Yeah, so it's a pretty positive feedback. It's a paid one, but the free version is enough because we require only spoken classes to improvise here. Just go with the free version enough. And if you want a paid version, I've already spoken to this company and we have taken some discounts which will cost you some 149 rupees per month. How much? So online it is little more, but we have worked out the discounts for our student and you can get the same app for 149 rupees. Everything has to go parallelly. Spoken English, practicing everything. Bye guys, take care. See you again in the next class. That's tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow hopefully I'll be taking the class 99%. I have some meeting. I'm informing all. Some meeting is there. Classes should happen. If that meeting I'm not able to postpone it, then tomorrow I'll not take the class, directly on Monday. Is this clear? Yeah? I'll try my best to take the class tomorrow, but I'm telling you this well in advance. Okay? Bye.